Let me turn, though, to Ken Locke of Carisma Therapeutics. Ken, who formerly worked at Novartis and BMS, and he's at a smaller organization now, a lot of experience with CDMOs. What do you think to start us off, Ken?
Yeah, thank you, Louis. So I think for me, the first part of this in selecting a CDMO is really an internal facing. And if you're forced to do a request for information in RFI, you have to know the question you're asking. What are you looking for? Sometimes that's an internal alignment. If you're a virtual company and you have very few boots on the ground scientists, you're going to look for a lot of development and really good project management are going to be critical. But I think on the other side of that, as you go down the questions and you start to refine them, it really matters. And you're going to hit all of these things around talent, service, technology. It's capacity. Are we looking for just a US-based trial? Is it in, first in human investigational? My space, primarily working in autologous cell therapies. We use viral vectors as well for transduction of cells. So we're looking at mostly first in human or phase 1 trials. So I'm not looking for a commercial manufacturer per se. And I'm looking in US are the early trials, and then I have a line of sight to Europe and areas of Asia. But for example, if you're looking for plasmid manufacturing, which is a hot topic in cell and gene therapy, I happen to use in our process adenovirus, which is a bit of an old school virus, but the plasmids there are 35 kb. Very few of the gene therapy plasmid manufacturers have experience with that. And so you need to know that up front as a question. Then you get into the relationship. One of the key things is project management. I can't underscore the need for project management both at the CDMO or the CMO, but also internally. You have to make a decision. Are you going to have internally, you're going to have a CMC, very technical person who happens to do project management, coupled with a really resourceful project manager on the other side at the CMO. I personally have done both with a very technical CMC with project management on the side. I lean now to have we manage using fully dedicated project managers, and we have common. It's important to know when you're getting into your project management and line item detail, is it a common document? Right? There's no shadow project timelines, particularly in a development phase, getting in and filing an IND if this is isn't a tech transfer of an existing clinical program. Those are important things. And I think to get at all of this visit, you really need to be boots on the ground as part of your evaluation period. Get to know the CDMO, meet. If they come to a meeting and they don't bring any of their technical people, you should really start to worry, right? You want to meet those people that are actually going to work on your project and get a feel for it and start to build that relationship early on. And another one that I found in this, particularly in the cell therapy space where we don't do campaign, right? These are autologous cell therapies. Every patient is a batch, is having the ability to have our own resources at the site while we're manufacturing. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that we go into the clean room Class B suite at the time, but we're there, we're viewing, we're live, we can address questions. We are the sponsor. In my case, we're responsible for that investigational drug product, and we should treat it that way. And our CMOs should understand that. And so, that all ties into experienced talent at the CDMO. And as I said, you should meet them, you should know them, and you should build a healthy relationship. And the one last thing that in this opening remark that I'll leave is that whether you have internal manufacturing or external manufacturing, you will have problems. And how you are set up to resolve those problems and get through it in a team aspect, there really can't be pointing of fingers, particularly in the cell therapy space where you've got so many batches and patients in between. You have to have an issue resolution because there will be problems. And it doesn't matter whether you're internal or external. So with that, I'll turn it over, Louis, back to you.
Very good. Very, very good. Thank you, Ken. And one of the criteria, perhaps, based on what you just said, is if the CDMO doesn't allow that person in plant, doesn't really welcome someone from your organization to be there on site as much as possible, then maybe that's not the right CDMO. Maybe you don't need that, but if you do, that's certain criteria. Project management, very good. We'll get back to that. I'm certain, and other very good key points.